I have a half continuum, and I often split it in such a manner that I have one preset running on the bottom of Y and another on the top of Y. And with the new firmware and an expanded continuum, you can very easily do this, and I'll show you how in this little video. First, you want to make sure that you have a continuum that's been expanded, and to do that, when you bring up the editor, you look at the top right hand side here, and underneath the version of the firmware you can see it says L something X. If that's a 5 or a 6, then your continuum has been expanded with a CEE or an XEE, as mine has been. And we can go about our business here. Now the first thing we're going to want to do is get two presets that we want to use in combination with each other. So what I've done here is I have a couple that I have available. One, I took the standard larynx horn preset, and I basically added another doubling of the preset with itself, and added the ability to set that to any interval from a semitone to a major seventh. So that would be sounding like something like that. So let's say I want that to be on the top. And for the second preset, I took the basic Car Plus preset from the building blocks and modified that. It's a Car Plus strong algorithm, a really cool one implemented by Christophe Duquesne. And I took away the filters on it to open up the sound a bit, and added a dampening factor on the outputs that basically used an envelope generator to quickly terminate the output, or terminate based on a barrel that I put in there. You can hear that the sound goes away pretty quickly in this case. I can make it even faster, but that's what that sounds like. And now I want to have those played such that the guitar-like sound is going to be on the bottom, and the larynx horn is going to be on the top. So how do I do that? Well, I don't want 3 presets to play at once. I only want 2. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is set the third preset here, no matter what it is, to empty. So what I'll do is I'll bring up the empty preset and save that as a preset to empty, which I've already done here. And I'll just drag that empty to my third preset, so that when I play, you'll see when I combine all 3 of these, obviously there'll be nothing to play since that one's empty. Now the next thing I want to do is click the first of the 3 presets that I'm going to group together in the new function in the 8.50 firmware that lets me combine presets, a CCE combination. So under the group function, I'll go CCE combination presets 1 through 3, and that'll take the first preset that I selected and create a set of presets with those 3. Oops, why didn't that take? Let's try that again. There they go. And now I have all 3 of these combined. So when I play now, you can hear they're both playing together. Well, that's not exactly what I want, but you can see it's pretty cool. I can combine presets now and have 2 of them playing together, or 3 even, if I have an expanded continuum. But I want to play one on the bottom and one on the top. So how am I going to do that? Well, let's go and click the first preset that I'll be working with, the larynx horn, and what I'll do there is I'm going to use a new formula. I'll pick one, O, say, right? And I will use it as a multiplier on the volume of the output. So if this is 0, which it is in its default state, nothing's going to come out. But that's not what I want. So what I'll do is use y as a multiplier, and I'll set y. So y is 0 from the bottom of y to midpoint, and from midpoint to the top of y, it's going to go instantly to 1. And this will basically allow me to not play my larynx horn on the bottom of y, it'll only play on the top. Right? So now what I want to do is save this preset, because if I click and come back to them, I'll lose it. So let me go and save this to larynx horn doubling, and I'm going to put that on the top. Okay. So now we want to take the pluck guitar sound, we'll click that, and we want to put that on the bottom. Right? And we'll do a similar approach here. However, this one, if you notice, has a formula already in the multiplier column for my outputs. Well, for the sake of argument, let's assume that that didn't exist. It wasn't there. Let's remove that for the time being, because most presets don't have anything on that multiplier column. And if they don't, and they have at least one free formula, you can almost always do this operation that I'm showing you. All right, so let's assume this preset didn't have anything there. So now we'll take a formula. We can take the same formula we took last time, since this is a totally different preset that we're altering. And we'll do the same thing, only inverted. So now we're going to make y from bottom to midpoint. Oops, let's put it at midpoint. 1. And from midpoint to top of y, it's going to be 0. So the opposite will happen. I'm going to multiply my outputs times unity. Basically what I expected there will come out from bottom of y to midpoint of y, and then from midpoint of y up, it'll be 0 multiplying times those outputs, so nothing will come out. And now, what I should have, since my larynx horn has already been modified to play in the top, if I play in the bottom, I have my pluck sound, and on top, I can play my larynx. I can play them at the same time. The only thing I can't do is play them on the same note, because I'm still only playing the hardware that's meant to be playing one finger position there. I'm not actually splitting the internal hardware when I'm doing this operation. So as long as you take that into account, you can use this technique freely and to very great effect, I think. So the only thing here is that's not exactly what this preset did. If I just play that bottom note now without the dampening on it, you can hear it's going on for quite a while until it basically goes through its Karplus strong algorithm running that excited pulse through a delay and filter, looping on itself. So what I'll do here is I'll go back to my original formula that had the dampening on it. You can hear that that goes away pretty quickly compared to the other. So I want to keep that, but I only want to play on the bottom of Y. So now I'll do the same thing, but if you notice, W is taken in the formula, but my X, Y, and Z are open. So this will always let me do a similar thing. And what I can do is use a formula where W times X plus Y plus Z is used. And because there's nothing in X and Z, I only have Y open here, I'm free to do what I did before. And now it'll do exactly the same thing. W from the bottom of Y to the midpoint will be multiplied by 1. So W will be whatever it was before. And when I go from midpoint to top of Y, W will be multiplied by 0. So W is 0, and H, in other words, is 0, and then my output will be zeroed out. Same thing as what I had before. But now, I damp out pretty quickly. So that's exactly what I want, and what I can then do is what I did before. I'll click on my click on that preset, and oops, you see what I did there? If I clicked on that, I zeroed it out again. So I have to be very careful when I do this, that when I make a change, I go right to save to disk, and then I'll put that on the bottom. Okay, and I have to make sure that I save it before I start clicking around, or I can lose what I put in there. And now, of course, I can go back and forth, and my formula is still there. And when I go back to my plucked, if I click H, I see that my formula is still there, and I'm good. So I'm all set up now. The one thing I should mention is that you can do this multiple times. So while I have my first 3 presets set up in CCE mode, if I wanted to, I could click another one here and combine presets 4 through 6. And then now I have 4 through 6 combined. And if I wanted to, I could go back to 1 to 3 and play those together in the way that I programmed them. And then I could quickly click on those. And now I have a separate set of 2 or 3 presets combined together in ways that I would like to be able to easily manipulate these sounds. A really, really great addition to the firmware. CEE combination mode.